Okay, so we're trying to solve this equation for A. Should be clear that if we divide it by whatever's attached to the A there, because A is multiplied by something, right? Then we're going to end up with A, right? So divide by 2 to the P, then we get 12 divided by 2 to the P. I'm not going to write out every step. It'd be A times 2 to the P divided by 2 to the P. But 2 to the P divided by 2 to the P is just 1, so we just end up with A. Now plug in the second equation, and we get, well, second equation is 2 equals A times 7 to the P. So 2 equals A, which is 12 over 2 to the P, multiplied by 7 to the P, right? Okay? Now, you'll agree that that's the same as 2 equals 12 multiplied by 7 to the P divided by 2 to the P, right? Just rearranging it, 2 to the P is in the denominator. Now, there are a lot of ways we can explain that, but we dealt with fractions very early, so hopefully you understand how the fractions work well enough to understand what I just did. Then, what are we going to do about that? Well, we're going to get 2 equals 12. Well, by laws of exponents, 7 to the P over 2 to the P is 7 halves to the P. And this is why you got to know the laws of exponents. If you don't understand the laws of exponents well enough, that's going to look pretty mysterious to you, okay? But that's what it means, okay? In other words, 7 over 2 raised to the P means 7 to the P divided by 2 to the P, right? It's obvious when you look at this, I think, that this should equal this. It just might be less obvious that this equals this, that they're just two sides of the same coin, and you got to get used to that. So it means you're going to want to solve a lot of these. They're easy. I mean, how long does it take to write this down once you understand it? A minute. Okay? Now, what are you going to do next?
Divide by 12.
Divide both sides by 12. And you get 2 over 12 equals 7 over 2 raised to the P, right?
I have a question.
Yes.
Would it be okay if I simplified already right now and made it 1 over 6 equals 7 over 2?
Well, that's my next step, but I don't want to, I don't want to skip steps right now.
Okay.
So let me do that first.
Sorry.
So I'm going to switch sides now, because my variable, usually we like to have that on the left side. I mean, there's no good reason for that except it's kind of a convention and we've got to choose one side. So we usually choose the left side for the variable. Variable being P, right? Okay? So now we've got everything simplified down. What do we do next? How do we solve this equation?
Log it.
We could. Okay? We
I
could.
love the logs. I get the logs.
Well, P would be what?
Log of P. Log of P. Or P would be P.
Yeah, be log of 1/6.
Yeah.
Log base 7 halves of 1/6, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you could do that, but there's a much easier way. Okay? And if you do it with log, I'm fine. Okay? But you also need to understand this. Okay, well, and we've seen this. We've seen this the last couple of days. We've done something very much like this, except it was with numbers. Okay? Well, actually, that doesn't help, does it?
Because you You don't get P alone.
okay?
You get P everywhere.
So, you know, I said that was gonna help, but I don't think it does, because that just
72,
kicks the can down the
Yep.
road. We end up with 7/2 equals 1/6 to the 1 over P, and we're no closer to solving for P than we were, right? Okay? So I'm gonna come back to what you said, I like it. So we are gonna have to do logs. As I said earlier, we're gonna end up with doing logs, right?
No.
Okay, so this translates logarithmically to P equals log base 7/2 of 1/6, right?
Yes.
Okay? Now, when you do this, be sure you understand that 7/2 is the base of the log, right? But it's also the base of this expression, the base of this exponential expression, right? So there's your base, there's your base. It's got to be in the same place in both of these, okay? May be useful. Now you can use a calculator because you got no other choice, unless you want to learn how to use tables of logs, which is that hard. But you might have trouble even finding a table of logs these days. Okay, use a calculator.
P is 0.0906.
To get P, round off to reasonable number, significant figures.